Hello, warriors. So, this is episode 4 of our segment Career Path, and I have another guest in the house. But if you have not watched the episode 1, 2, and 3, I will advise you go straight back into my channel and then watch that. So, I will allow my guest to introduce herself and tell us what she does and the journey so far. So, over to you.
Hi everyone. So my name is Sarah Akinsola and I'm a mental health nurse and I'm a year qualified so far. So I did my leaving cert in 2017 and I was 17 when I was doing my leaving cert and choosing my career, and it was daunting at first, choosing what you're going to do for your rest of your life and all that stuff. But I thank God that He's seen me through this far. So when I was choosing my choices, I knew from when I was younger that I wanted to do something in healthcare. So I had on my CAO, because in Ireland you have the choice of choosing 10 level 7/level 8 courses, which are 3 to 4 years, or you have a choice of doing 10 level 6 courses, which is 2 years. So I had chosen both on both sides. I had a few on level 8, which were I had midwifery, I had mental health nursing, and I think I had something like general nursing. So they were all nursing. So they were all kind of healthcare. So I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. And then in my level 7 courses / level 6 courses, I had something like pharmaceutical science, biomedical science, like science courses. So I knew that I wanted to do something anyways in the healthcare system or science. And because I had an interest in chemistry and biology in my leaving cert. And I would say my leaving cert subjects influenced, kind of helped me towards choosing my career, because I had done home economics, I had done my optional subjects, and which were home economics, chemistry, and biology. So I knew that it was along that line that I wanted to do something towards healthcare or science. And when I was choosing, I think one important thing when you're choosing courses you're going to do, which was one important thing I noticed, was like having an insight into the courses that you want to choose. So like for me, I knew that I had an idea of what nursing was or and what midwifery was, but I didn't really research into what it was until, let's say, when I got into the course. So I think that was one important thing, that if someone is choosing a course they're going to do, that they kind of research what the course is about, so they have like an insight, so they don't get surprised or disappointed when you enter the course. Because when I entered mental health nursing, I had an idea that, okay, mental health nursing, you take care of people with mental health issues and stuff like that. But I had no idea, because, you know, the stereotype of how mental health is, and the stereotype it has, the background it has before from previous times. But I when I entered, at first it was daunting because I didn't know what to expect. But as the years went along, I started to enjoy it. But because I didn't really research it into what I was going to do, I didn't know what to expect. But eventually I graduated and I really enjoy the course, and I would choose the course again if I was to go and do my CAO again. But one thing I would do is I research it more. And
Yeah.
one thing is, yeah, like I would research it more. That's one very good thing I would say for people if they're choosing their CEO or looking into going into their like choosing courses they want to do. One thing was is to research and even ask other people that are in the course how it is, or like ask people that are already graduated in that profession also, which also helps. And so the 4 years was good. I had placement, I had coursework, which was a lot of coursework, assignments, but the 4 years went by fast. Like the 4 years actually does go fast, and then comes graduation comes, and then you're going into your career, and it can be daunting after, because like majority of my friends were all graduated, and we're like, we don't know what to expect after graduation, because everyone is like, okay, the 4 years, the 4 years, the 4 years, you go through the 4 years, and you're like, after the 4 years is like reality strikes, because like you're going into that's when you actually decide like what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Like that's when if you're moving out of your house, you start paying rent, you start paying bills and all that stuff. You go into your actual job that you've been working towards, which we all prepared for it, but it was kind of daunting. And then let's say for some courses, it's like you might not get a job straight away, and it's like trying to navigate yourself around it also. But yeah, it's been good so far. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. And one of the points you mentioned there is when you wanted to do your living cert, you have options. You
Yes.
had you want to say in the science area, but you add a lot of options of your courses. So which is good. So now somebody watching you, listening to you now will say, oh, that's an idea. That's something I need to do to have an option of what I really want to do. Now, my next question is, did when the choice of, oh, I want to do this, or when you get your offer, did anybody oppose to say, oh, maybe not this course, or did you think like, oh, I didn't know they would pick me for this? And this your career, was it your first choice?
My career wasn't my first choice. So my first choice was midwifery. So every time everyone asks
Oh,
me, oh, what's it called? Did I always want to do mental health nursing? I had it as an option, but I didn't think I was going to be doing mental health nursing. So my first option was midwifery, and it was like my first, second. And then I think mental health nursing was like my third, fourth. So my mind was
wow.
set that I would be doing midwifery. And every time people ask me, oh, what would you have done before? Like, was it your first
Yeah,
choice? I would say midwifery. I had midwifery like as my first choice, and then they're like, that's very like they're two very different. They're both okay. There's midwifery and they're both in the health sector, but they're both
yeah.
different spectrums of the
Mm-hmm.
health sector. So it wasn't my first choice, and
Okay.
I was, when I saw it, I was happy because I was like, okay, it's still nursing. But I was like, oh no, I wanted to do midwifery, but I was like, okay, I'll see how it goes. And thank God I enjoyed it, and I've qualified and I'm enjoying my work now. But at first I was like, oh no, I didn't get the midwifery I wanted at the
Yeah,
time. But also it's important that I would say it's also important that because we do have options, but it's also important to, when you're choosing your SEO, it is also important to put an order of preference. So like even though you might think that okay, maybe I might not have enough points, you might not get enough points, and you might not believe that you might get enough points to get the first choice,
mm-hmm.
it's still
Mm-hmm.
important to put your in order of your preference, so what you want first and then down to what you want maybe last, because let's say you might get the points and then you'd be disappointed that you kind of doubted, or you kind of undermined yourself because you didn't think that you'll get it, and then you eventually got the points, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh no, if I had known, I would have put it in order of preference. So it's important, because I know sometimes people just put it anywhere, but it's important, like it gives you more of opportunity to get what you want if you put in order of preference rather than just putting it everywhere. Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes some people will say, oh, the choice, the offer that I got, the mark is even more than my first choice. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
because it's your choice doesn't mean that it's a rank of the point.
Yeah.
Sometimes your third choice might be like 500 points and your first choice might be like 350 points. And then sometimes, you know, we hear the story of a lottery ticket, something when they are picking, you know, students to, you know, for the slot. So sometimes it doesn't really matter, like you said. Do not underestimate yourself. Don't focus too much on the point, although you have to work hard towards, you know, getting that point to give you a better chance. Because you getting the point doesn't guarantee your slot. So if there are
Yeah.
so many people who applied for that particular course, then you will have a lot of students, where I say candidates, who have the qualifying point but still didn't get any slot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So at least that is why your choice, your mindset, everything have to be in place. So like you said before, there's a stigma when people hear mental health nursing. They think you are running all over the place, trying to make someone sit in their bed, you know, like it's chaos. So
Yeah.
just tell us, like your normal day at work, what is it like?
My normal day at work, so we'd come in, we do handover. Our patients, our service users would be asleep,
Yeah,
and we we'll prepare ourselves. We'll look at the patients, the
yeah,
service users notes.
yeah,
There'll be a medication round. So when the
yeah,
service user have their breakfast, we'll be giving them their medication. There'll be different activities during the day. So let's say activation. So let's say there'll be art. There'll be, let's say, if they're speaking to the psychologist, or um doctor reviews, or you as a nurse, you would do one-to-one time with your service user, or it's just like, and then there's meal time. So like, the day is broken up because they have their breakfast, their lunch, and their supper, and then it's like in between those times you give them the medication, and then you speak to them one on one. So whoever needs, maybe some might need more one-to-one nursing care rather than others, and then some might need to be reviewed by the doctor. And I know sometimes, like when we hear mental health nursing or when we hear mental health hospitals, it's people think that it's like those mental health asylums or movies where people are aggressive or they're scary, which there can be people that are aggressive, but that's because of their mental health issue they're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
But not everyone is aggressive. Like there's some people that are depressed, there's some people that might experience psychosis, and that might lead to them being aggressive. Or there's some people that have, let's say, they have eating disorders, so they might not, they won't even be aggressive. So it's just having the stigma around is because everyone thinks that every mental health patient is aggressive or they're they're unusual or stuff like that. But I think it's having an understanding that there's various mental health issues, and there's a wide spectrum of mental health issues. So not everyone is aggressive. But my day it would be busy, like it'd be busy, a busy day. And like I know they do say like mental health nurses, we don't do as much as, let's say, general nurses, but it's not as physically demanding as general
General.
nursing, but more mentally
Mm-hmm.
demanding. So like you're finding a way to support your service user during the day and supporting them where they need the support and giving them that one-to-one time, rather than in a general hospital where you have to physically help them, you have to physically wash them, you have to let's say give them IVs, whereas we're kind of giving them one-to-one kind of talking therapy. Like we do a lot of talking therapy with our service users, like speaking with them and just getting the bigger picture of what's going on with them. So that would be
Yeah.
kind of my day.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's really good. Like you're enjoying, like it's your passion and you're enjoying it. And then another question I will ask, like some people will say, I know I often say this, if you see a child that loves to play with water, maybe the child wants to be a swimmer. So what are the things that you notice about yourself that you think, I think science is for me? What are the attributes, your gift, the things that you love that you think, I think I'll be better with taking care of people.
I think one thing for me is because I like caring for people. So I think that one was a factor, attributing factor that helped me with my career, or helped me with
Mhm.
choosing my course, because I was like, okay, nursing, healthcare, you kind of help people, you have
Yeah.
like you care for people, and also a lot of people will say I'm patient. So like I think those things, like being caring and patient, help me with my career and help me navigate myself towards my career. Because like when I was younger, I used to say, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a doctor. But then I was like, okay, you know what's okay, let me not be a doctor. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
nursing. So then like you're caring for people, you're seeing people when they're at their lowest or when they're sick, and then you see them like recover or get better, which is nice and is rewarding to
Yeah.
see that. So I think that's one thing that helped me towards navigating myself towards choosing my career. And then if when I was choosing to do science, it was because I liked like chemistry and biology, and I was like, it'll be
Yeah.
nice and interesting to just see how it is. So that's the reason why, like that's what helped me navigate myself, or attributes I had to help me navigate myself towards my career.
Yeah. Because you are my first Irish guest, so if you want to do any science course, you have to have your biology, your chemistry, your physics. I had some colleges might swap your biology for your higher math or something.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know some places like they only require you to have maybe one science subject, or
Okay.
maybe some it depends on the college and it depends on the university. So some
Mm.
universities, they expect you to have maybe two science subjects. So let's say they expect you to have biology and chemistry, or biology and physics, or sometimes some universities accept agricultural science as a science subject.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but it depends on the college, and then some, I'm not sure. Some might, let's say, if you have higher level maths, they might accept that, but it just depends on the college, and it's important to check the requirements of the college you're applying to,
Yeah.
because not every college has the same requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, let's say for nursing, not everyone that I was in college with did, let's say, biology or science subjects when they were coming into college, because some of them had done pre-nursing um courses. So not they might have not done biology, but they would have done maybe a background and kind of like in healthcare in their, let's say, their PLC course.
Yeah.
So, and thing is, like once you get into your first year, like a lot of them do like they do kind of like general biology or general chemistry if that's the basis of your course. So, but it is important to check the requirements, because if you're going into science, or if you're going into nursing, or let's say medicine or whatever, pharmacy, a lot of them do require you to do have a science subject, or like science, or like biology or chemistry. And it also helps it, like, for you to have like a background to understand have a background of the subject also when you're going into college, because it helps as well. But yeah, that's
Oh, that's good. So let's say somebody is a mature student and they didn't maybe do biology or physics or something. They still have another pathway through their PLC to
yes,
get into do nursing. So which
yeah,
is good.
yeah. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
good, because a few of my in my course, it was like, I know some colleges or universities, they accept, like, let's say 2 or 3 mature students, or people that came from, let's say let's say they didn't get enough points in their CAO, and they did the PLC course. They would use this the PLC route, or the mature route, and they would use their whatever their distinction or their merit in their PLC course to help them get into nursing as well, which is
Oh,
good as another route to get into university.
yeah, that's good because some people might think, oh, after my leaving cert, I want to take a break, or something happened, personal situation that kind of, stop their plan from going straight into the university. So after taking like 2, 3, 4 years break, and they think, I think I'm ready now, which is not bad at all. If you think you're not mentally capable, like what we're talking about, take a break and then come back fully, ready. They have the opportunity to do the same nursing without, going through the biology or physics using another pace. But the thing
Yeah.
is, with the biology and the physics and all, for people who go in through, maybe because they are mature students, do they start from the foundation with the physics and the chemistry when you start your nursing?
Some of them will have, like, let's say, I know, I'm not really 100% sure how let's say the PLC courses or the pre-nursing courses will go, but I think some of them, like, let's say they will do kind of basic biology, and then, like, let's say when I was in first year, we did like anatomy and physiology, so you would kind of do like a basis, so regardless of if you had a background of biology or let's say chemistry, you would still learn in first year the foundation of biology and the anatomy and physiology of the body and stuff like that. So you would still learn it in first year as the foundation. You still get more information in the first year, even if you, let's say, you could have forgotten it, maybe if you had done your leaving cert maybe 2 or 3 years ago, or let's say if you during the summer you forgot about the biology or whatever,
Yeah.
you would still, in the first year, you would still learn the biology and the chemistry or the anatomy and physiology in the first year as the foundation as well.
Okay. So like you talk about a few of your strengths. People say you're patient. Of course, you're a patient person. And let's say you didn't do nursing. What else? What else do you see yourself doing?
If I didn't do nursing, my friends will always have this discussion. I think if I didn't do nursing, I think I would have done maybe pharmaceutical science or something, because I did enjoy chemistry, I did enjoy biology, or sometimes I think I would have done maybe teaching. But then I'm like, I don't know if I would have been a teacher, but I think those are the things I would have done, maybe doing teaching or doing pharmaceutical science. Those are probably the 2 other things I would have chosen if I didn't choose nursing.
One of
Yeah.
my guests mentioned she'll be a lecturer, and I said we all teach.
Yeah.
Whatever career path that you're on, you teach. Like people will start coming to you for you to mentor them now. Then you have to teach them. Or
Yeah.
if you're talking about a certain thing, like what you're talking about now, you're teaching because you've been on that path and you're telling people, you want to make it easier for them. You're providing information, though. So that's
Yeah.
teaching actually.
Yeah.
Now, can I mention that, some people might think, okay, maybe I can do nursing, maybe I can do that. What are the things, like on a personal level, to prepare yourself? Like if you're a secondary school student, you mentioned you were 17 when you start your living start. That's quite young.
Yeah.
How do you prepare yourself to be able to kind of focus and go into a very kind of high demanding career like that? Advice for a younger self.
Advice to my younger self: if I was to do all over again, maybe I would have, maybe because I didn't do TY, so that's the reason why I was younger. So that I
Yeah.
was young, I was kind of one of the younger ones in my year.
Mm-hmm.
And like my friends and I, my other friends are nurses. We always say that, like, at the young age, maybe we start at 17, 18, 20, and 19, 20.
Yeah.
Like it is, what's the word, it's still a lot of, let's say, a lot of work for ourselves, because we are young and we're also taking care of other people when at a young age. So it
Mm-hmm.
can be quite demanding. But I think also, like, it's important that a way to prepare yourself, maybe going into courses, having friends that can help you along the way. I think one
Mm-hmm.
thing is, my friends were a major thing that helped me towards my within the 4 years. So they were there to support me, help me. And we're all nurses, so we kind of, like, whenever we were tired or we wanted to, like, vent or rant, we would kind of rant with each other and would understand each other. And also God helped me through the way. And also, like, knowing that if you know that you're not ready, you can also defer the year, so you don't have to go into the nurses straight away. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
if I, like, I knew I could defer it, but I didn't choose to defer the year. But, like, there's the option to defer the year. So let's say if you feel you're too young to go into nursing or whatever course you're going into, let's say teaching or whatever, at, let's say, 17, 18, 19, you have the option of also deferring the year. So until you're ready, maybe even if it's just 1 year, if you feel like you're not actually ready to go into the course. And also, like, for nursing, like, it is, I think nothing can really prepare you for where you're going into, because it is a demanding job, and it is, as you go in, like, especially over COVID, like, it was quite traumatizing for some people. And it's a career that is bittersweet. Like, there's times where it's nice, there's times where it's joyful, and there's times where, like, it is upsetting, and it is like this the sad part. So I think just having the support around you, and just knowing that also to take care of yourself while you're doing the course, or when you're qualified, is also important to actually take care of yourself. And it's important to incorporate self-care, because if you don't incorporate self-care, you'll kind of burn out, or you'll kind of, like, be like, what's the point of me just continuing with the course? Or what's the point of me, like, say, if you're qualified, what's the point of me staying in the career? And
Mm-hmm.
also, one thing that can prepare yourself is, like, let's say you're finished your leaving cert and you know you're going into nursing. Also, like, researching the career and researching, like, the things that you feel like you might need in the course, or speaking to other people, as I mentioned before. Speaking to other people in the course will kind of prepare you to know what to expect when you're going into the course, or what you're to expect when about the career or the course itself. And also, what else? I think that's it. Yeah, I think yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
I think
Yeah,
it's a deliberate decision. You have to be
yeah,
sure you want to do this, and you have to go for it. And like you
yeah,
mentioned, friends. Of course, we all have different kind of friends, but you have to pick the ones that's on the same path with you at that time. No distraction whatsoever. So let's
yeah,
say you want to go to the university, and then you have some friends who don't want to go to the university. Of course, what you'll be doing at that time will be different. So there
yeah,
will be like a break, or like a kind of a timeout thing. Like the friendship will be like just maybe virtual only, you talk over the phone because you are in college, they are doing other things. So you have to be deliberate about your choice of friends.
yeah.
So they will be the same people that's on the same path, with you. So that's really good. And then you mentioned COVID there, and I think you are part of the two full years, right? They were
Um,
doing online courses or no?
yes, I think it was 2019, so that was I think it was my third
The
year,
lockdown started in 2020.
2020. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was my third year, and then the fourth year I was on internship. So I was the two
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were
yeah,
2 years in. How was that like, studying from home? Because most like all the campuses in Ireland, sure, there was no lecture in the campuses. So they were like doing virtual. And I know a lot of students were struggling with that. Because some
yeah,
people we just like, I'm looking at you, I know you're looking at me, but because there is no video classrooms, some people we just put it on and maybe fall back asleep or something
Yeah.
like that. How was that for you, especially with your course is so demanding?
Because I've experienced, let's say, in-person lectures, so it was a big shift. Like I think, it affects like third year. It kind of the lockdown kind of happened, let's say, in March, April. So I didn't really have lectures. It was more of just exams, and then because COVID and lockdown, it was more of, let's say, we only had, let's say, assignments. So there was more assignments for us in the end of third year. But then when we started fourth year, majority of our lectures were online. And it was different because you'll be having, let's say, if you're in person, you have the 2 hour lectures where you have a break, and you go to the canteen, you go to the
Yeah.
kitchen or wherever you're going. But whereas when we had online lectures, it was literally you're in your house, and you
Mm-hmm.
literally like, it was hard to like kind of like separate college from home. So it was like your
Yeah.
college was in your house. So literally,
Yeah.
like, you wake up, it's college. When you have your break, you're still at home. It's still college time. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like college was your house was your new college setting, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like, it was just different because it was a new way to learn. And I think for me, I think it was better for me when I was in person, so going into lectures in person rather than online, because online it was like you were you're less likely to concentrate as much as you would, because it's like it's online and you're listening to the voices of the lecture, but it's not as interesting as, let's say, it was in person. And like you're less likely to stay in tune with the lectures. So I think it was kind of harder. Online was kind of harder. Like, let's say there were some lectures we had at 9 a.m. and a majority of us will wake up, and like, if you didn't put your camera on, you probably fall asleep. Like, there were some lectures I would wake up and I would turn it on, and then the next minute I'm falling asleep because I'm in my bed,
Yeah.
or in my living room and I'm just falling asleep, or that's the time I'm eating my breakfast. Or like when you're in person, like, you would wake up, let's say you wake up 8 o'clock, you wake up 8 o'clock, let's say leave the house at 8:30 to get in time to college in time for
Mm-hmm.
your 9 o'clock lecture. But when it was online, it was like you wake up quarter to 9 or even 5 to 9, and you're like, okay, let me
Yeah.
just quickly do my hair and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe just show my face. So it was like, it was just different. Like, it was a bit harder because it was just like, it was harder to be more motivated because it was like your house, you're still at home, and your house is your where you're doing lectures. It was like you was kind of like you're stuck in a place, like, in a way. And then, like, it was quite tiring as well because you're just staying in one place and just
Yeah.
seeing the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. And shout out to you guys. Like during that time, a lot of people lost interest in a lot of things that they were doing during
Yeah.
that lockdown. And for some people, they were like, "Oh, stay at home, work from home." But for you guys, you mentioned you did your, placement. You
Yes.
can't stay at home because you have to
That's
be on the field. And that
yeah.
was when people were saying, "Oh, stay home because of COVID," and so mentioned you didn't defer any year. So that means you started your education journey from junior infant all the way till your degree. That's about 17 years, isn't it? Because you didn't do transition year. So it's
Yeah.
about 8 years in primary school, 5 years in secondary school, and then that's 13, then another 4, that's 17. Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive. For your brain to be that on spot
I
for the
know.
whole
Yeah.
17 years, that's impressive. And
Yeah.
what will you be doing when you're underage anyway? I know you can start working at 16 legally, but will it not be better to focus more in college and then, focus with education in general and then, go into the workforce where you know exactly what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
Now, so my next question is, which will be my final one. If you're looking at somebody, a younger person now, and you want to tell them how interesting nursing is, what will you say to them? Why do you think somebody should go into nursing as a career?
Um, why they would go into nursing as a career? Um, I would say, look at, if they're going to go into nursing and why they should go into it. Number one, they would think how they would feel like, would do do they have a passion for taking care of people? Because a lot of people, like, they'll come into the career and they'll say, oh, they're coming into the career for the money. You know,
Yeah.
everyone like is like, oh, nurses have a lot of money, da 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 da. Like, okay, yes, okay, you get to a point where you have enough money, but in general, nurses are underpaid. So it's like, are you coming into the career because of the passion you have, or are you coming into the career because of the money? Because if you're coming into the career because of the money, the money will not really keep you in the career. But if you're coming in because you are passionate about the career, if you're coming to career because you want to make an impact in people's lives, or make a change in people's lives, or help them towards, let's say, to get better, then that will be a motivating thing to, like, let's say, uh, help you continue, let's say, going to nursing and stuff like that. And nursing is interesting because nursing is, let's say I did mental health nursing, there's children's nursing, there's general nursing, there's
Yeah.
ID nursing. So nursing is there's a broad spectrum. So it's not just one nurse. Like, yes, there's the label of the nurse, but there's so many nurses. Like, there's clinical nurse specialists, there's advanced nurse practitioners, but those obviously you'll have to progress your way up. Like, you'll have to do masters, you'll have to do, let's say, postgraduates and stuff like that to get yourself up to those
Yeah.
scales. But they're like, nursing is not just one, let's say, one spectrum. Like, it's very broad, and it's interesting. But like, the only thing that motivates you to continue is if you have the passion. The passion is what will motivate you to continue to achieve the, let's say, the high places. Like, let's say, there's school nurses, there's public health nurses, there's even in mental health, there's like clinical nurse specialist nurses, there's CBT nurses, there's old age nurses. So like, in nursing, you can do a lot of things with nursing. And I think that's what makes it interesting, because you don't have to, let's say, for us, like, you don't have to stay in the wards. If you want to go into community, you can go into community. If you want to be a nurse in a school, you can be a nurse in a school. Even if you want to be the nurse, let's say, in a GP practice, let's say for general nursing, through the general nursing pathway, you could be a nurse in, let's say, a general practice, so like a primary care center or a GP nurse. Or let's say, like, I only found this out recently, like in the UK, there's places like in a primary care center where there's nurses that, like, let's say, they're kind of like GP nurses, but they're like mental health GP nurses, which is interesting. So I think the thing that makes nursing interesting is the fact that you don't have to stay on the wards, you don't have to stay on 12-hour shifts, there's 9 to 5s, there's so many roles you could go into in nursing. So I think that's what makes nursing interesting. And obviously, like, the different conditions, like, let's say, the physical conditions, diabetes, if you're interested in let's say, hearts, if you're interested in coronary heart disease, stuff like that, you can specialize in whatever you want to, which is the interesting part. You're not stuck to one, you're not minimized to one place, which is the interesting part of nursing. I would say that's
Yeah.
the interesting part of nursing. But obviously, you have to start off with the general side, which is like the wards and stuff like that, and then you can work your way up, which is the good thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's good for some people that get bored easily doing one thing all over again, like the routine. You can just kind of, experience another area of your career. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people that are looking at you now, like, wow, look at, if they want to reach out to you, where can they reach out to you? Like on your, social media platforms, anywhere?
They can reach out to me on my Instagram. So my Instagram name is Sarah Akins 10. So SaraHAKINS 10. Or they can reach out to me on Facebook, which is, my name is Sarah Akinsola. So Sarah SRAH and then Akinsola AKINSOLA. So those are the two platforms I can be reached on. So Instagram or Facebook is the two places. Or I can be reached on my LinkedIn, which is, my name is Sarah Akinsola, on my LinkedIn as well. So those are the three places I can be contacted on. Or I have my email, which is sarakinshola11@hotmail.com. So those are the places I can be reached if someone wants to contact me or ask me questions, or
Yeah.
in terms of career or nursing
Yeah.
or whatever it is, or just advice in general. I can be contacted as on those different platforms.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, for honoring this invitation. And if there's anything we want to discuss in the future, we might invite you again.
No
Thank you
problem.
so much. So there you have it, guys. Take care of yourself. Bye, warriors.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.